Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, YouTube. It has been a little while. So just to kind of get you all caught up, I recently took on a bigger project at work, and unfortunately that required me to be out at Edwards Air Force Base, California for the last 3 weeks, and unfortunately I am only home for about a week for the holidays, and then I got to go back again for possibly another 3 weeks. So that's definitely going to limit the build. Where we left off was I had finished the right elevator. I still need to build the left elevator and then roll all the leading edges on the elevators, the rudder, and then eventually get around to fiberglass tips. But I'll try and get that left elevator done while I'm home. There will be some videos coming out for that if you're looking forward to that. I promise they will be coming. I don't know if I'll get to any building yet today or not because it is Christmas, and well, it's all up to what the family's gonna do today. But we have opened our presents. Things are going well. In the spirit of Christmas, I thought I would do a talking head kind of video, just showing off some of my favorite tools, plus some of the new ones I just got today for Christmas, including my shiny new work shop apron thing that the wife got me. It's actually really rugged. I think it's going to be kind of handy. Keep a lot of those aluminum chips off of my clothes so I'm not dragging them into the house. And then we'll talk about plans for the future and what's coming up, if you're interested in any of that. If not, this video is not for you, then move on to the next one. No big deal. And here we go. Some of these you've seen me use already if you've watched any of the videos. At some point, once I get a little further along in the build, I might do a more comprehensive build video of this is all the stuff that I like and what I use. But for now, I just figured I'd highlight some of the more used things that I have. So let's start with Christmas today. Like I said, I got this really nice shop apron. Pretty happy about that. Wife also got me something else off my wish list. I got a Klein Tools inclinometer. So basically you turn this bad boy on and it'll give you, I don't know if you can see that or how it's going to come out, but it'll give you angle readings. It's a full-on angle finder. You can re-zero it. It's got little grooves to go onto pipes. It's got a magnetic side, and then I got this plumber's strap kit for it, so you can strap it to pipes or maybe spars, things along those lines. So this should come in handy later on when I'm setting angles and doing a bunch of other stuff. So that'll be a good tool. Pretty excited about that. I also got, what else did I get today? Oh, the close quarters dimpling tool from Cleveland Tools. This was recommended to me by Chris. I'm very excited to get this and looking forward to using it. If you've watched my previous videos, you know I made a homemade tool. I modified a pair of channel lock pliers to use my close quarter dimple dies, and it does work. It's kind of a pain. This seems like it'll be much easier. You mount this to the bench, and then you can slide the trailing edge pieces in here and then whack the other end with a mandrel that has the dimple die in it. So looking forward to that. That'll make life easier. All right, what else do we have here? Where should I start? Okay, drill bits and cutters. Literally, when I went through and bought all of my tools, I thought about buying the entire set from Cleveland, and I like Cleveland Tools. I like supporting them. I buy a lot of the specialty stuff from them. They make really great stuff. However, I'm still trying to be somewhat budget-minded with this build, and some things, they're just cheaper and better to get other places, to include drill bits and cutters. I found a website called drillbitsandcutters.com, clever name, and I went through and bought all of the drill bits that would normally be recommended for the RV-8 kit build, along with all of the reamers. If you've watched it all, you've seen me extensively use this number 30 and the number 40 reamer, along with these drill bits. I do have some bigger ones in there that I got from them as well. It was a significant price difference going with them versus buying the ones that come in the Cleveland set. So I decided to go that route, and then if I need more, I can just go buy individuals from them. They're fairly cheap. I found, modified, and made these 3D printed trays, and I use these for my drill bit organization. I don't know if that's going to come across or not. I didn't do any fancy raised labels or anything. I just went ahead and used the Sharpie and marked what's in each one. So I can just quickly grab what I want, my own little drill index, and these live inside of my little rolling tool cart over there. So makes it handy and easy to get to. These little spring stops, I've got a whole set of those I got off of Amazon. They definitely come in handy to keep you from going too far into the drill or into a hole so you don't punch through something on the other side. You do have to be careful still though, because if you run this up against the aluminum skin, it can scratch and mar the skin, but not too bad. I can't remember where I actually got the tungsten bucking bar from, but this thing is very handy. It's worth the price. They are very expensive, but this thing is so dense, it does a really great job and gets into tight spaces. I have, however, also used a lot, and I have no clue where I got this. I got this years and years ago, but this steel bucking bar, it's got a stamp on it, says AT750N-1, but having that long angled foot really helps get into and reach some places. You can see it's all marred up on the side because I was using it sideways, and I was using this like a handle when I was reaching down into the crevices of the horizontal stab. What else? Deburring tool. This is a Shaviv, however you want to pronounce it. Deburring tool. It's extendable. It's got a little hollow handle, keep extra blades in. Right now I have the double-edged deburring tool on there for just doing edges. I got a single hooked edge bit in here as well. This double-edged one really does a nice job of just taking the last bit of edge off of skins and stuff. So really like that. I had a dedicated one. I attempted to use it as a pry bar and I broke the head off of it. We won't talk about that anymore. Moving along. I definitely like 3D printing stuff. I find it handy. I print a lot of useful tools. Some things work out well, some things don't. I drew this up and printed out this little holder real quick for my flat sets. I have the one that came with the Cleveland tools that I keep all of my dimple dies and stuff in, but this one was just for this flat set that I bought off of, I think ATS Tools, the multi-height flat set, which comes in handy for my squeezer to adjust the throw that I'm getting on it. Now we'll talk about that thing here in a minute. But good 3D print, really like the flat set. Speaking of ATS tools, I bought a while back the Cleveland tool Rivet Gauge, and I do like this. It works really well, but for ease of use and just quickly grabbing something, these cheaper dedicated size ones from ATS are quickly becoming my favorite. I can just grab the -3 one real quick. I've got the head size, so I know that it shouldn't go over that and it shouldn't be thinner than that. Makes that real quick and easy, gets into a tight spot. So I do like these better for most of the riveting. This is nice because it's also got the height gauge to tell you if you're using the right height rivet or not, so it is very handy for that. But it's easy to think you're using the -3 size and not pay attention and end up using the 4 size, and yeah, I like these better. Keep things simple. In the spirit of 3D printing also, I had recently found these bins. I don't remember what they were designed for originally. It's not my design. They are stackable. I've printed a couple so far, and they are really, really handy for the rivets. You just dump out what you need in here, and then when you're done, you can just pour them right back into the bag they came from. And I'll turn the camera around here in a minute and show you what I'm using for my parts storage. Speaking of rivets, Scotch wall safe tape. This stuff works awesome as rivet tape. It's a little bit thicker than normal Scotch tape, and it peels really, really easily. So it works really well just laying down over a row of rivets for back riveting, keep them in place, and then the whole thing peels off real nice and clean when you're done. And it's a lot cheaper than rivet tape. Told you, I'm still somewhat budget minded even though this is a crazy build. This is a little rotary screwdriver. This one came from Japan when I was there working, but they sell all kinds of versions of these on Amazon, and it works really well for the deburr tool, and I've used the heck out of this. Just a single flute deburr tool for going after all of the holes that need to be deburred. Yardstore.com, they're a great source for some specialty stuff as well, and they have used tools which are pretty awesome. You can get some pretty good prices on them. This is I believe it's a number 8. Yeah, this is a number 8 drill guide for nut plates. I haven't had to use it yet, but I anticipate being able to use a lot when it comes to, I think there's a lot of nut plates on the fuselage, and I may do nut plates for the fiberglass tips. I haven't decided yet on some of the surfaces. So that's what that. Okay, welcome back. The camera just did something funny there, so I don't know if it recorded all of that or not, but we're going to keep going like it did. So anyhow, this guy I bought off of an eBay auction. This is a pneumatic Cleo installation tool, and I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not, and I really like it. It's not handy for some things. Some things you still want to use just the Cleo pliers, but when you're just doing an entire run of Cleos, either moving them over one or pulling them out or putting them in, this thing is awesome. It seems a little violent when you're using it. It's really not. It just makes a pop because it releases the Cleo and it kind of helps you pull it out at the same time. Very, very handy tool. Totally worth the price on that. They come in 2 flavors. There's ones with a pistol grip. I got the straight one, and I actually really like the straight one. It's easy enough to use it straight, or the nice thing is when I'm just working on a flat surface, I can just hold it like that and run along. So, good tool there. Another Amazon find, I actually bought this when I built my Voron 3D printer, but I've used it quite a bit on this build so far, and it's just a little cheap Machinist Square. Very, very handy for finding, you know, true square, and it's nice and tiny, so it works really well for checking flanges or laying out straight lines. You can see all the blue marks on it from using it as a straight edge, and it's super cheap. I can't remember how much it was, but if you search Machinist Square, I think this one right there, 100 by 63 millimeters off of Amazon, you'll find it there. Pretty good price. My love-hate pneumatics squeezer. Yeah, I've gone into the things that are good and the things that are bad on this multiple times throughout the build so far, and I'm sure it's going to continue. It was previously seeping a little oil out of there. I thought maybe one of the internal seals was going bad, but it has stopped again, so I don't know if it was just the way it was working that day. I reached out to the company to see about getting a repair kit. I never heard back. So we'll see what happens there. But this thing is temperamental. It has this removable, changeable ram on it for different heights, and it's held on by a very tiny screw. And we've already found that when that screw is loose, like it somewhat is now, that screw can break, and then it's a royal pain getting the screw out of the ram body. Not fun. Getting this thing bled is not fun. That's the key to making it work right. Once you do get it bled, it works great. It's super easy to use. It's very repeatable. You just dial in air pressure, which I adjusted my little pedal setup here. It has a foot pedal, which is really nice, so I can two-hand it. I've recently found another nice feature is just clamping this in a little drill vise, and then I can just run a part through it using 2 hands on the part and my foot on the pedal. Pretty cool tool. I use it in conjunction with my Clemson Aeronautics C-frame tool. You guys have seen that up on the bench. I'm not going to bring it out right now. It's big and bulky and it's sitting down here. Works really well for dimpling the skins. It's also strong enough that you can rivet with it. I know it would do -3 rivets really well. I think if you want to do anything bigger than that, you need to reinforce it, so you can't do the full depth. I'm not sure if I'll ever use it for riveting or not. We'll see what we get to that might necessitate it. It could come in handy for a few things. I probably could have used it for some things already, but it is what it is. One other thing from Clemson that is also really nice is their yokes. I bought all of my yokes from Clemson. I believe I got the 3-inch one when I bought the kit. So I bought this one and it came with it. And I have since bought their LeRon Yoke and their 4-inch no-hole yoke. And I have used all 3 of these on the empennage kit so far. I will say you absolutely need all 3 of these yokes to start on the tail. These are really well made. The finish on them is really nice. They're machined really well. They're every bit as nice, if not nicer, than a lot of the other ones I've seen out there. And they're cheaper. He has a very affordable price for them. Definitely go check out Clemson Aeronautics for that. I like that stuff. And he's a really good guy over there to deal with. Very, very helpful. He's helped me a lot with getting the C-frame set up, and he even went out of his way shipping me some stuff when he was leaving town for work. Really, really appreciative for all the help he's given me. So that is just a few of my favorite things in the spirit of Christmas. Oh wait, one more thing. I meant to talk about this one. I was talking about the yard store. The used tools with the yard store. I bought these. I don't know if they have any more. You can tell they're both different, but they're still same. These are microstop countersink cages. I bought 2 so that when I'm doing the spars later on, or anything else that requires 2 different depths or 2 different sizes, like you can see right now, I've got a really big one in there, number 40 in there. But I bought 2 of them so that I can have different ones set and ready to go. Normally, I think these are about 30 bucks each, 30 or 40 bucks each when you buy the brand new ones. I bought these used ones from the yard store, and I believe they were 15 bucks each. So it was like 2 for 1. They seem like they're in great shape. The bearings are really good in them. They adjust just fine. Nothing wrong with used tools once in a while, especially when it comes to some of the specialty stuff. Okay, the elephant in the room. Van's Aircraft has had an issue for a while. They're ongoing financial trouble. I do not have my wing kit on order yet. I was going to order it right when that all started, and then the ordering got shut off. And then all the drama of them filing for Chapter 11 and everything else they've done, I, like many others, have received a letter in the mail from, I believe, their attorneys talking about rights under claiming stuff and things like that. I have gone back and forth on what to do next, because I am in the unique position that I'm somewhat vested. I spent good money for an empennage kit to build this RV-8. I don't have anything else in it other than all of my tools to build an all-aluminum aircraft. So, options. I could say to heck with it all and not do anything more and just ride it out and see what happens. I could continue, accept the new prices that came out, and order my wing kit here soon. And if Vans doesn't pull through somehow, or things get really bad, then the last option that I have to go with, rather than abandoning the work I have done, and it is a route that I am still thinking about as an alternative if things don't go through, would be an F4 Raider from Team Rocket. It's a plane that I originally really wanted to build, but it's a lot more complicated of a build, and since I hadn't built a plane before, I wasn't sure if that was something I wanted to dive into. And for those that don't know, an F1 Rocket, F4 Raider, it's the same airframe for the most part. The F1 Rocket puts a 6-cylinder up front. The F4 uses a standard 4-cylinder Lycoming 360. It is a different fuselage than a standard RV. It is their design, their fuselage. It is not match drilled or anything like that, so there's a lot more work involved in putting the fuselage together. You use wings from an RV-4. You can use the tail that they supply. You can use a tail from an RV-8 or a tail from an RV-4. So in that regard, my tail would be a usable thing and it wouldn't be a waste. I could use it and build that. The downside, obviously a lot more work. You have to source all of your own hardware, and you have to refer to several different sets of plans, and that's where it gets a little complicated. There's a build guide manual for the F1, F4. There's a set of plans for it, but then you also need RV-4 wing plans. You need Harmon Rocket 2 plans, and then you need to reference all of them when putting it together. It's not an impossible thing, and after working on this now, I feel like I probably could do that. But I think for the time being anyways, I'm going to stick with vans. I'm going to get the plans and everything else I need for the F4 in case things do go south, and I have a way to at least turn what I have into a working, usable airplane. So that's where I'm going with it now. Sometime in the middle of January, I hope, I'll be able to get my wings on order. I have no idea what the lead times are going to be right now, since everything on their website has been removed in reference to lead times. It could be very quick, it could be really long, I just don't know. But hopefully mid-January I'll get wings on order. If the lead times are what they were before, you know, maybe May time frame, we'll see. So there will be a period of time here where I'm pretty idle with the build because I'll be waiting on wings to show up. Now I do have a couple other projects to deal with and some other things to work on. I am finishing my license. I'm pretty much ready for my check ride. It's just been hard to get one because of my work schedule again. Like I said, I was out in California for the last 3 weeks. I'm going to be out in California for the next several weeks. So I need to try and get that done. I did recently buy, see that or not, a whole stack of steel. I've got 2x4 3/16, I think it's 3/16 thick steel tube, some plate, got some really thick square steel plates that I need to punch some holes in. That'll be fun. And I got some aluminum angle. And what I'm going to do with that is fab together a copy of some wing stands, wing jig stands that I saw on some other sites. So that'll be a project. I'll video it all while I'm waiting on the wings to show up. And then my ultimate plan is I'm going to bolt them and anchor them to my shop floor and use those instead of wood ones to build my wings when it's time. The reason I've decided to go that route is we have so much humidity here. I've been working on an outdoor kitchen out in our backyard for a while now, and no matter how much it seems like I let the wood beams dry before I try and build with them, ultimately when the humidity and temperature changes, they get a twist in them, and I just don't want to deal with that in the garage, especially with something like my wings. So steel seems like the better way to go. So I'll build a set of steel ones. I'm going to bolt them to the garage floor with some inserts, and then when I'm done, I'll just pull the bolts out and put some plugs in there so I can use them again later if I want to for something else. I'll also make them available to my EAA chapter later when I'm done with them for anybody that might want to use them. So that's coming up. So I'll try and get some more flying videos as I do some flying. I might be able to get a chance to do some tail wheel flying and some spin training while I'm out in California. That's still to be determined. I need to finish my check ride, get some wings on order, and keep plugging along. So stick around. There will be more videos of some other stuff coming up. Like I said, left elevator's coming. And yeah, I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. See you on the next one.